Hey, 1 2. Check, check, check. Hey, hey.
our way back through the doorway. Ms. Cassidy. Maybe one of the teachers want to take them to Ms. Cassidy's.
Okay, she's down there. We'll take them down.
Okay, thank you.
Where is she?
All right, so we're going to get started. Everyone's ready to settle in. So my name is Ms. Feitel. I'm one of the school counselors here at Atkinson. I am the 6th grade school counselor.
Hola, lo siento. Soy señora Collado, una de las consejeras escolares aquí de 5º grado aquí en Atkinson.
And whoever's walking in, come on in. Feel free to sit wherever you'd like. Okay. So we're really excited today to be here to talk about something that's very important, digital citizenship. So Ms. Collado and I are going to be talking about tips for safer internet and social media use today.
So, otra vez, gracias por venir hoy. Vamos a hablar sobre la ciudadanía digital y también los consejos que nosotros podemos usar en el internet.
So first we want to talk about what is digital citizenship. What does that mean? There are a few points that we want to touch on today. And the first one is responsible use of the internet. So understanding how to use technology on the internet safely and ethically.
Uso responsable, comprender cómo usar la tecnología y el internet de manera segura y ética.
Second is online safety, right? So teaching our children about privacy, security, and how to protect their personal information.
Seguridad en línea, enseñar a los niños sobre privacidad, seguridad y cómo proteger su información personal.
The next one that's extremely important is respectful communication, right? So encouraging positive interactions online and helping our children understand how to be respectful and what that behavior looks like.
Y eso sí es un tópico muy importante también, comunicación respetuosa, fomentar interacciones positivas y un comportamiento respetuoso en línea.
Next we have critical thinking, so helping kids understand and evaluate information and making sure the sources that they're getting that information from is correct and ethical.
Y la próxima es el pensamiento crítico, ayudar a los niños a evaluar información y fuentes de manera crítica.
Second to last is digital footprint awareness, which is really important. Understanding the lasting impact of online actions and posts, right? Knowing that most of the things you put on the internet will stay there forever.
Y la próxima es conciencia de la huella digital, comprender el impacto duradero de las acciones y publicaciones en línea y saber que la cosa que está en línea, la mayoría del tiempo va a quedar en línea.
And the last portion of digital citizenship is problem-solving skills. So equipping our children to handle online conflicts and challenges.
Y la última es habilidades de resolución de problemas, equipar a los niños para enfrentar conflictos y también desafíos en línea.
And feel free to take a photo of the slide if you'd like to reference it, and as well as if anyone has any questions, we're going to have a portion at the end, but if you have a question about a slide that we're on, feel free to raise your hand and we will definitely answer it. Okay.
Si quieres tomar una foto de algunas cosas aquí, por favor, toma una foto si quieres.
Okay. So why are kids using social media? It's clearly something that has become very, very popular for kids and for us adults, right? It's important to understand why they're using different apps to better understand that attraction towards social media in order to create those restrictions that we need.
¿Por qué los niños usan las redes sociales? Es importante comprender por qué su hijo usa diferentes aplicaciones para crear restricciones y comprender mejor la atracción hacia las redes sociales.
And as we know, as social media continues to become more popular, because I don't think it's going anywhere, kids can post images, videos, and other information about their life.
A medida que las redes sociales se vuelven más populares, los niños pueden publicar imágenes, videos y otra información sobre su vida.
So many kids desire to have a life that they might see online. That's a really important piece of information, and that often can cause sadness or jealousy. Many kids can hide behind their devices and might act differently than they would, face to face with their peers. And I think this is where we see a lot of peer conflict, even in schools. If there are students that are having a conflict, a lot of the time it's stemming from what's going on their phones at home. So it's important to be aware of that as well.
Muchos niños sienten el deseo de tener como una vida que podrían ver en línea, lo que puede causarles tristeza o celos. Muchos niños se esconden detrás de sus dispositivos y pueden actuar de manera diferente a como lo harían cara a cara. La mayoría del tiempo también en la escuela hay muchos conflictos con los estudiantes y se empieza en línea. Eso es importante que tener en mente.
So we're going to go through a couple of tips that we have for you as parents and guardians. So the first tip that we want to share is privacy, okay? And, we might know what that word is, but there are some apps that we might not be that familiar with, and we want to show you some kind of sneak things that you can do that you might not know of to keep your kids' information private. So set all social media accounts as private, okay? Most of the apps that they're using you can set as private. Private means that the only people that can see your child's account are the people they accept, okay? And all the apps, they do have that in the privacy settings. So for example, right here, this is TikTok, a very popular app that I'm sure many of you are familiar with. If you go to the settings, the 3 buttons on the corner, you click privacy, and then you can make it private. So you have the ability to then look, who's friend requesting my child? Do I think that's someone that I should accept? Do we know that person? Are they friends at school? Is it a random person? It might maybe look like a child, but it's really an older person, right? You have to think about those things.
Configuro todas las cuentas de redes sociales como privadas. Esto garantiza que las únicas personas que pueden ver las cuentas de su hijo o hija son las personas que aceptan. Todas las aplicaciones tienen algún tipo de configuración de privacidad. Aquí es una aplicación que se llama Instagram, al lado de aquí, y puedes ir en la aplicación de configuración en Instagram y poner la cuenta privada por ellos.
The next tip, this one's very important for general safety, is to block the location access. So for anyone who might not be familiar with this, on all of your children's apps, this actually, you go into the settings in the iPhone. I'm sure if there's another phone like a Droid, there's settings as well. But usually all apps can track your location. So it's important for those social media apps that they don't have the location, and it would ensure that your child's location is just not able to be tracked, just for that extra layer of safety.
Y la próxima bloque el acceso a la ubicación en toda la cuenta de su hijo o hija. Esto asegura que la ubicación de su hijo o hija no se puede rastrear su local a través de las aplicaciones de redes sociales, porque no queremos que otras personas en línea sabe a dónde tu hijo o hija están.
So the third tip we have is to not post private information. I think this is one that we almost think of because it's so clear to us as adults, but sometimes we need to remind our children what to post. If they're posting a TikTok at the gas station, well, maybe that means, oh, what is the name of that gas station? I know where that gas station is. That must mean that child lives around that gas station, right? So things to keep in mind. So obviously we want to encourage our kids not to post their phone number, their address, birthday, full name, and passwords.
Y desanimar a los niños a no publicar la siguiente información: número de teléfono, dirección, cumpleaños, nombre completo y también contraseñas. Nosotros no sabemos que los estudiantes a veces se ponen algunos videos en TikTok, cerca de un gas station aquí, y algunas personas en línea pueden decir, oh, ¿qué tipo de gas station es eso? Y buscar el nombre de gas station. Y por eso tenemos que tener más seguros.
So number 4 is online decisions. And this is one that, Ms. Collado and I talk about with students pretty often. But at home, speaking with your child very frequently about the decisions that they're making online. Okay? So, for example, some questions to ask your child, right? What are they saying in their text messages with their friends? I think sometimes we forget to look at the texts because we look at the apps. And it's important to remember that those text messages are, typically it's with friends at school or people at school, but there can be some not so nice words exchanged, whether that might be your child maybe saying something they shouldn't or someone saying something they shouldn't to your child, okay? What photos are they posting? It's important to know in the camera roll on your iPhone, there's a deleted photos and you can do like a hidden photo. So ask your child about that. They'll know what you're talking about. And if they haven't, then, make them show it to you. What comments are they writing, right? Are they being unkind? So some strategies that would be helpful for, family conversation at home, because it might not be so easy talking about these things. You could say, well, would you say that in person? How would you feel if I received that text, right? So if they think mom or dad or grandma or aunt, uncle, how would it feel if they got that text message that your child might have sent? What would grandma say? We say that one sometimes. Think twice before hitting send, right? And would you want others to see this? Would you want this to be on the internet forever? And is it worth it, right? When you send something or you receive a text and it makes you feel sad or nervous or anxious, right? We have to evaluate the people that we're talking to who might be making us feel that way.
Hablé con sus hijos con frecuencia sobre las decisiones que están tomando en línea. Algunas preguntas son qué dicen en los textos, qué fotos están publicando, qué comentarios están escribiendo, están siendo crueles con los demás, y también buenas estrategias que pueden preguntar a sus hijos o hijas después de escribir un mensaje o texto, o después de poner algo en línea en TikTok o Instagram. Puede preguntar, ¿lo dirías en persona? ¿Cómo te sentirías si recibieras este mensaje de texto? ¿Qué diría tu abuela? Eso es algo muy popular. Piénsalo 2 veces antes de enviarlo, y también te gustaría que otros vieran esto.
So the next tip is to choose our friends wisely, okay? So we really want to make sure that our children do not accept friend requests from people that they don't know, like we mentioned earlier. So it's important to keep in mind the accounts might not be who they say they are. A lot of the time, kids now, I don't know why they're doing it, but this happens a lot where they'll make like fake accounts and they'll pretend to be somebody else, and they might be talking negatively about your child or other people, and it's very easy to hide behind a phone, right? So it's important to keep that in mind. Kids usually desire more friends or followers. It makes them look cool, and a lot of kids think they might be cool if they have a lot of followers. So that might mean that they might accept people that they don't know just because it might look cooler that they have those followers. And when they accept friend requests, that person has more access to their content. So just keep that in mind when you accept that friend request, or you add them to Snapchat, or you add them to the group message, they can see whatever you're posting.
Los niños no deben aceptar solicitudes de amistad de personas que no conocen. Las cuentas pueden ser falsos. A veces hay algunos estudiantes que se crean como cuentas muy falsos para tal vez hablar con otra persona o para hablar en una manera con otra persona. Quien sea puede crear una cuenta. Los niños generalmente desean más amigos o seguidores, y también ellos quieren ser más popular, en línea y también en la escuela, y por eso ellos pueden hacer eso. Cuando aceptan solicitudes de amigo, esa persona tiene más acceso a su contenido y vida virtual.
Anyone have any questions so far before we keep going?
¿Hay algunas preguntas?
This one is very important, and something that we try to remind our students every day is to be proactive towards the mean behavior. So encourage, your children to block accounts that are being rude or disrespectful or mean. We see this a lot, as we mentioned before, where children can hide behind their phones and say things that they wouldn't normally say to their face. We see it every day. And if someone is writing to your child or saying anything negative, you always have that option for the block button, okay? And sometimes that's enough, hitting the block button, and they move on to somebody else. So if someone is bothering your child online, we have some recommendations. So obviously comfort your child, and that looks different for everyone. That might be having a conversation about it. That might be taking them out for ice cream and asking them what's going on, right? Whatever you think would be the best meaningful way to reach to your child. Don't respond. Obviously, we don't want them to respond and then go back and forth, because if someone's saying something negative, we don't want your child to respond at all. We want it to end before it gets worse. Notify us, right? If there's something that's going on with children in school and it's going from home into school, we want to know so that we can help. Keep records, right? Make sure you're aware of what you're seeing on apps. Take screenshots if those behaviors do continue. Block the contact, right? So we said that before. If it's a phone number, you can block a phone number, or you can block an account on any app. And be there to support your child in whatever way that feels comfortable for you.
Aconsejo a los niños a bloquear cuentas que sean groseras, irrespetuosas o malas. Si alguien está molestando a su hijo o hija en línea, consuela a su hijo o hija. Eso puede ser como una conversación, o tal vez ir a comprar helado para hablar. No responder al ofensor, por favor, puede bloquear el contacto. Notificar a la escuela. Nosotros queremos ayudar todo el tiempo y hacer lo más que podemos. Guardar evidencia. También en tu teléfono puedes tomar una foto de la cosa que está pasando, porque tienes en tu teléfono después de eso. Bloquear el contacto, y también apoya a su hijo en la mejor manera que sabes.
It's also important to keep in mind, your child might say something negative to someone else online, right? We've all been there. Everyone in this room probably said something they shouldn't have once, right? So, if your child, if you happen to see them saying something that you think isn't like them, or you're upset by what they're writing, have that conversation. And, we are the school counselors here, and we can always speak to your child about appropriate language and figure out, kind of dig in why they're saying these things. Maybe they're having some low self-esteem, maybe they're not feeling so great about themselves, or maybe they're trying to fit in and be funny. There's usually a reason why a child might be, acting a little unkind to someone else.
Y también la mayoría del tiempo en la escuela, no la mayoría, pero a veces hay algunos estudiantes que tienen problemas hablando en una manera mala a otros estudiantes. Y a veces algo está pasando, tal vez en su mente o en el grupo de los amigos, y podemos hablar sobre eso en la escuela también y dar el apoyo que necesitan.
So number 7 is have a family media agreement. This one's a really, really great strategy that we recommend to all of our families is, you can sit down together at the kitchen table and have a media agreement. So that means set rules and expectations. Have that conversation, make it clear to your child, this is what I allow and this is what is not allowed. And if they're not followed, you can put a consequence in place. Obviously this is something that you can do if you're comfortable with, but it is something that we've found success with our families. So an example over here is one would be, I will not bully, humiliate, or upset anyone online, whether that's through sharing photos, videos, screenshots, spreading rumors or gossip. Another would be, I know whatever I share online can spread really fast and really far. I will not put anything online that might harm my reputation in the future. I know that not everything I read is true, right? This is another big one. There are a lot of things on social media right now that can cause fear, and we want to make sure that what they're looking at is accurate information. And it can be challenging to look at all of those things going on in the world that might be really stressful. So it's important to know what's going to be on that agreement.
En su familia tengo un acuerdo en lo que se refiere al uso apropiado de Internet, establecer reglas y expectativas, y también si no se cumplen, establezca como las consecuencias. Hay muchas familias aquí en la escuela, se usan algunos ejemplos como eso, como no abrir cuentas o dar información privada, por ejemplo mi nombre completo, fecha de nacimiento, y información como eso, y también no compartir mis contraseñas con personas que no sean de mi familia, y si alguien me presiona, me hace sentir incómodo, tiene comportamientos inadecuados hacia mí por internet, y ejemplos como eso, que pueden hablar con su hijo o hija sobre.
Something else that you can do as well, we recommend have like one day per week where you sit down with your child, if possible. And we recommend to not just take their phone and look at it yourself, do it together, right? Hold them accountable. Say, show me what's been going on this week. Has anybody been bothering you this week? Are you maybe bothering anybody else this week? What can I do to help you or support you? You could do that once a week or so, whatever feel comfortable for you. That also kind of gains that trust where you say, I'm here for you. If there's something that is going on, I want to help you and I want you to be able to tell me instead of hiding and not saying anything and then it getting worse.
Y si hay algunos problemas en el teléfono o en línea con su hijo o hija, es importante que tener esa conversación con su hijo o hija, con el teléfono enfrente de ustedes, para buscar en el teléfono juntos y tener ese tipo de conversación.
Another one that might be helpful for you and your family is to sign and discuss a school digital contract. And something that we have here at Atkinson that's very, very important as well is read through it. It's on our website. Discuss the school expectations, right? Beyond school hours. So obviously in school we have expectations that our phone is off, it is away. If there's an emergency, you can go to the main office and call your family. Obviously if there's an emergency, you will all be notified, right? So we want to make sure that our children's phones are away at school so that they're learning and able to be successful. So the positive digital citizenship at Atkinson is, I am respectful, I'm responsible, I'm engaged, I'm empowered. So it's important that we have this at school, and so we have it at home as well.
Y también tenemos un acuerdo aquí en Atkinson, Positivo Ciudadano Digital Atkinson School, y es como un acuerdo que podemos decir soy respetuoso, soy responsable y también estoy comprometido en la escuela. Y eso es importante que saber también, porque la otro acuerdo está por la casa y eso puede ser para la escuela.
As a important to keep in mind as well, you know, all of your students have your children have Chromebooks now. So sometimes at night, if they're, you know, playing a game or they're looking something up, we can see everything that they're looking at. So, you know, making sure that we're monitoring the Chromebook use as well as their phones.
Y todos no sabemos que los estudiantes tienen los Chromebooks ahora en la casa y tenemos que, you know, como mantener reglas con los Chromebooks y, you know, buscar a veces en el Chromebook si él está o ellos están haciendo, you know, cosas que no son apropiadas a veces en el Chromebook. Y eso es importante para tener también en mente.
And so another reminder that we've said a couple of times, but it's so important, is that the internet is forever. So teach your child to be aware of what they're posting online. Once something is posted, deleting it doesn't mean that it's not there. So an app that we're going to get into a couple of apps that are important for some tips to things to know about is like the app Snapchat. Years ago, it used to be you take a picture, it goes away in 2 seconds. Now you can screenshot the picture of what somebody says. You can screenshot the conversation. So it's not permanently deleted. And reminding your child that they should only do things online that they wouldn't mind that you or their teacher or a future employer might see.
Y el próximo vamos a hablar sobre algunas aplicaciones específicamente que los hijos o sus hijos o hijas se usan en línea, pero enseña a su hijo a ser consciente de lo que publican en línea. Una vez que se publica algo, elimínelo, no significa que se elimine permanentemente, lo siento, las palabras son muy largas, de internet. Recuérdale a su hijo que solo debe hacer cosas en línea, que no le importaría que usted, su maestro o un futuro empleador vean.
Okay, some apps to know. Okay, your children might have some of these. You might have already banned them from your home, right? I'm not sure, but we're going to go over a couple of them.
Vamos a hablar sobre ese tipo de aplicaciones porque yo creo o nosotros creemos que la mayoría de estudiantes tienen tal vez como 2 o 3 aplicaciones aquí.
Okay, so Snapchat is a very, very important one. This app is very popular amongst our students. What it looks like, for those of you who might not know, is you can post photos or videos online. You can also chat a friend, anybody that you're friends with. You can post stories, so it's kind of like you would take a photo of something, or you could write something, and it could stay for 24 hours on your page. Okay.
Snapchat es muy popular aquí con los estudiantes. Puedes publicar historias y elegir cuánto tiempo pueden permanecer las imágenes que están disponibles hasta 24 horas.
So just know that, truthfully, you're supposed to be 13 or older. So technically, no one's children here should be able to have access to Snapchat. Typically, when they make an account, they lie and they'll put their birthday as, a little bit older. So if you want to take it away automatically, just say, oh, it's not up to me. You can't use it because that's what it says. But they don't have to verify their age, unfortunately. So they could use a different birthday.
A veces nuestros hijos o hijas son un poquito mentirosos y los usuarios deben como tener 13 años o más en Snapchat. Sin embargo, no tienen una forma de verificar su edad para que un niño pueda usar una fecha de nacimiento diferente y por lo tanto es posible que un niño menor de 13 años se inscriba.
So it's important to keep in mind that it is unmoderated. So students can post anything on there. Any photo of them, any photo of you, of your home, any words, they can post anything. You can't filter the posts that you receive. There's no real privacy settings The only privacy settings that exist is the ability to restrict who can contact you, and like a student could, let's say you have a friend on Snapchat, but you don't want them to see your story. It gets a little confusing. You can block them from seeing that. But if you don't shut off the location access, there's actually on the app there's like a map, so you can see where everyone is at that time. So for location access for Snapchat, it's so important. They can have your exact location, and anybody who's friends with them can see that. So it's really, really important to keep that in mind. And like we said, if you can't filter the posts, so they can be exposed to adult content that we don't want them seeing.
Snapchat no está moderado y por lo tanto no puede filtrar las publicaciones que recibe su hijo o las historias que ve, lo que significa que pueden estar expuestos y a contenido para adultos. Y con eso también las personas que ellos tienen en Snapchat pueden ver su publicación en el Snap. Pero hay una variedad de configuraciones de privacidad, incluida la capacidad de restringir quién puede ponerse en contacto con usted, ver su historia y también para ver su ubicación en el Snap.
Any questions about Snapchat?
¿Alguna pregunta de Snapchat?
Instagram. So Instagram is an image and video sharing platform. Probably somewhat familiar with it. It also has a stories feature similar to Snapchat. The stories disappear after 24 hours. You can post photos on here, videos, you can message people. Again, you can share them with your followers, and you can also live stream yourself. So there's a button where you click where you say go on live, and your followers can watch you.
Instagram es una plataforma para compartir imágenes y videos. También tiene una función de historias que es similar a Snapchat. Las historias desaparecen después de 24 horas. Puedes compartirlos con tus seguidores, transmitir en vivo y ver a otros. Hay un botón en Instagram que se dice Live que puede empujar y empezar como un video vivo. Tal vez en la casa, en la escuela o cosas como eso.
So again, you are supposed to be 13 or older, but they can put in a fake birth date. Just keep that in mind. And when other users, so they can comment on posts. So this is one that's important to keep in mind, because we always think about social media and leading that to like low self-esteem, right? And seeing things and, oh, I wish I looked like that, or oh, I wish I spoke that way, or oh, I wish I had that watch or that car in that video that I'm seeing, or that photo. So just because you might not have that many friends on Instagram that you accept, so you might have your friends or your family only that see your things, your child can look at any other account that is public, right? So there are a lot of accounts that are public that they can see different content, and it can lead to positive and negative judgments.
Se supone que los usuarios deben tener 13 años o más, como lo mismo de Snapchat. Solo es necesario indicar una fecha de nacimiento. Otros usuarios pueden comentar en las publicaciones. Los comentarios pueden ser positivos o negativos, pero es importante que tener en mente también que ese tipo de comentarios negativos pueden afectar muchísimas a los hijos o hijas de ustedes.
And lastly, there is a privacy setting on Instagram in the settings. It's a button that says private or not private. So if you want your child, we recommend that they're always on private, and then only people that you accept to follow can see the content. but their profile, so when you click someone's Instagram and they're on private, you can see their photo. You can click on it, you can see it pretty wide. So make sure the photo that they have on Instagram, if they do have an account, is appropriate and one that you feel is acceptable for being online. And they can also write a little bio. So for example, let's say it's Sam's Instagram is Sam Torres, right? That's the name. They can write in the caption, Caroline G. Atkinson, class of 2024, right? They can write that there and someone can see that. Even if they're not following them, they're always allowed to see the bio. So that's something just to keep in mind for an additional safety layer.
Las publicaciones pueden ser vistas por cualquier persona, pero puede cambiar la configuración de privacidad de su hijo o hija para que solo las personas que conocen puedan verlas, como la familia o amigos que ustedes ya saben, por ejemplo. Y también hay algunas cuentas que pueden poner en el bio, es como una oración abajo de la foto en la cuenta que puede decir Caroline G. Atkinson, tal vez, y tiene que cambiar eso porque es como información muy privada.
Any questions about Instagram? Hay preguntas? No? Okay, one of the most important apps that we see a lot of our children using is TikTok. TikTok is, if you're not familiar with it, I'm sure your child can explain it to you, but it's a music-led short-form videos. So what that means is they can post clips, videos of them speaking, they can take little clips and put them together, they can be very creative on there. The clips can be up to 10 minutes long. And the content is vast and very varied. So covers everything from great things like a makeup tutorial, gaming, they can watch their favorite gamer's game, they can watch a cooking video, they can watch coloring videos, sports, music. So there are some positives to TikTok.
Y nosotros ya sabemos que ustedes ya saben sobre TikTok, es muy popular. Pueden poner, publicar como videos cortos con música, los clips pueden durar hasta 10 minutos, el contenido es amplio y variado y cubre como todo, desde tutoriales de maquillaje hasta juegos y desde deportes hasta música también.
If we're thinking about apps in general, the ones to look out for, Snapchat is super popular with children and their friends. TikTok is your children and the entire internet, right? So I want us to understand that the differences between the apps. There is a restricted mode which can filter content. It doesn't really work that well because if your child types in something, they can look at a video that they want to see. And it does have that 13 age limit, but again, they can just get around that by putting a different birthday.
También tiene un límite de edad de más de 13 años como Snapchat y Instagram, pero una vez más un niño podría evitarlo indicando una fecha de nacimiento diferente. Tiene un modo como restringido que filtra el contenido, pero no se sirve muy bien y puede buscar como un tópico como muy específicamente y buscarlo en TikTok.
So students can see videos from all over the world posted by anyone, especially if that restricted filter is not on. So again, this is the kind of app where I would be most cautious in making sure, knowing what, the monitoring of what they're looking at, maybe sitting with them. A good way to see what is on TikTok, there's something called an algorithm where once a child starts liking a video that they see, then the TikTok app will say, okay, they like that video, let me show them videos just like that, more of them. And so if you sit with your child for 5 minutes and scroll, you'll get an idea of what your child's TikTok looks like. So that's one idea that we could implement.
Y también tienen algunos filtros otra vez en el app, pero es importante que sentar con su hijo o hija y buscar o mirar todos los videos en TikTok para usted puede ver las cosas que se miran en esa aplicación.
And again, you can make the account private, so other people cannot see the posts that they're posting, but again, they can still see other people's posts for whoever is not on private.
Y también en ese tipo de cuenta puede poner privado como Instagram y Snapchat.
We'll briefly go over WhatsApp. This one's not as popular, but it's important to know about it. It is a messaging app that I'm sure a lot of us might be familiar with. It does allow individuals to message and have chats and groups of up to 512 users in one group chat to have a running conversation. It's aimed for people, kids who are 13 and older, and you can communicate with anyone in your contact list on your iPhone or your Android who has the app downloaded. And anyone who has your child's phone number could send them a message. And there have been reports of bullying and inappropriate content with children and adults on that app. So, be mindful of that if they do have this on their phone. I know some people speak to their family members on WhatsApp, but they could sometimes get random messages.
Y yo sé que WhatsApp es una aplicación que es muy popular también en mi familia. Nosotros hablamos con la familia de República Dominicana y también Perú. Es una aplicación de mensajería, permitir que los chats de mensajes individuales a grupos de esto como, lo siento, es el número 512, lo siento, usuarios tengan una conversación en curso. Y también yo tengo un grupo con mucha gente de mi familia en eso. Cualquiera que tenga el número de teléfono de su hija podría enviarlo un mensaje y ha habido informes de intimidación y contacto inapropiado con niños por parte de adultos en la aplicación. Las fotos enviadas y recibidas en WhatsApp se guardan como automáticamente en el carrete de la cámara de su teléfono también. Eso es importante que saber.
So that last point is important. So any photo that's sent or received on WhatsApp automatically saves to your camera roll. So let's say you gave your child your old cell phone and you used to have WhatsApp. Make sure you look through those photos on the camera roll because they're probably still there in case there's anything that you want to delete or just not have on that phone. Something that you might not know about WhatsApp. But I actually don't think you can take that off. So keep that in mind. So Discord is one of the last apps that is very popular as well. There are a lot of popular apps. And this one lets your children share their voice, video, and text chats with friends, gaming commuters, and developers. So this one is more geared towards our friends who like to game and use video games. And again, they must be 13 years or older, but they don't verify the ages.
Discord también es muy popular. Le permite compartir chat de voz, video y texto con amigos, comunidades de juegos y desarrolladores. Los usuarios deben tener también otra vez el número mágico, 13 años, pero la plataforma no verifica las edades de los usuarios.
So it's all user-generated content, which means your child can easily be exposed to inappropriate content, okay? So that includes swearing, graphic content, very inappropriate content. So just again, be mindful. There is a setting called Safe Direct Messaging, and it offers kind of like a traffic light color-coded system to determine whether messages should be checked for inappropriate content. And you can see if you go into the settings for Discord and you go to Safety Direct Messaging, there's a button you click that's green called Keep Me Safe, and it will do its best to filter out the content that our children shouldn't be seeing.
Y todo es contenido generado por el usuario, por lo tanto su hijo puede verse expuesto fácilmente a contenido inapropiado, groserías, contenido gráfico y más. Safe Direct Messaging ofrece un sistema codificado por colores de semáforo para determinar si los mensajes deben como revisarse en busca de contenido inapropiado. Puede como empujar en ese botón allá que se dice Keep Me Safe y puede poner como una filtra en la cuenta.
Monkey app. You know about this one, yeah.
No, I don't, this is. I don't either.
Oh, okay, this is new for us too. If anyone's ever heard of Omegle or Chat Roulette, this is one that your child should not have on their phone. Very candidly, it's a video chat site that's available online. This could be an app, and it's also a website. So if they go to www.monkeyapp.com, they pair random users, so they identify you as you, and then it picks a stranger. That stranger can be a 60-year-old man. That stranger can be a kid. That stranger can be anyone. So it's really important. A lot of kids go on this because they think it's fun. They hang out together, or having a sleepover, and they're like, let's go on the Monkey app and see if there's anything fun, or we can mess around with anyone. But they can see very, very graphic content. It is not filtered at all.
Monkey App es un sitio nuevo de video chat más popular en línea. A veces yo me miro videos de algunas personas que son famosos en YouTube, que como tiene videos sobre el Monkey App y usando eso para hablar con otras personas en el mundo. Emparejan a usuarios aleatorios identificados como tú y extraño, y puede como ser un niño de 7 años o puede ser una persona que tiene como 60 años. Y para chatear en línea a través de texto, video o ambos.
So, a user can add their interests and they can try to pair them. So if someone writes, I like to cook, they might pair them with someone else who writes, I like to cook. But if not, you can be paired with anyone, any gender, age. And the video chat has an adult moderated or unmoderated option that can be turned off very easily. And if a child clicks, that button, they might be put on like a direct live video and text chat without warning. So that can expose, our children to very inappropriate content in a matter of seconds. It's important to keep in mind as well, it's not, for anyone, if you have a child who might be shy, might be maybe a bit lonely and doesn't really have that many friends or connections, it's important to keep in mind maybe your child might use this app to maybe meet some people with similar interests, and that might not go over so well because they might be seeing inappropriate things. So it's important to just keep that in mind as well.
El video chat tiene una opción para adultos, moderada y no moderada, a la que los usuarios menores de edad pueden acceder fácilmente. Si un niño hiciera clic en el botón, se lo colocara en un video directo en vivo y en un chat de texto sin previo aviso. Esto puede exponer a los niños a contenido inapropiado en cuestión de segundos. Y también, si su hijo o hija tiene dificultades haciendo como amigos en la escuela y quieren como hablar con alguien en línea, es importante que poner eso en la mente, porque ellos pueden ir en la aplicación o también el sitio en la computadora para hacer eso y hablar con alguien. Entonces es importante que tener en mente también.
I'm going to skip past Facebook. today. Not really being used very much probably by everyone in here, but not with our children anymore. They've moved on. So other resources to keep in mind. So one that we love to share is called commonsensemedia.org. It is a great website. kidshealth.org, Family Online Safety Institute, internetmatters.org, and of course, administration here, as well as the school support staff. So we have our school counselors, which are the two of us, we have our social workers, and we have our psychologists. So there's a lot of support available to you. Internet safety is,
Y también hay otros recursos y que se llaman Common Sense Media, kidshealth.org y los otros aquí en la lista, por ejemplo, y también la administración y el equipo de apoyo aquí en Atkinson. Aquí son los consejeros escolares y también tenemos como los trabajadores sociales y también las psicólogas, ¿okay? Para dar lo más apoyo que podemos aquí en la escuela.
Lastly, internet safety is evolving every day. There's new apps every day, things change by the second, legislation changes. So it's important to stay up to date on ways to protect your children, speak to them often, make them know that you are there and they won't necessarily maybe get in trouble for telling you something, right? We want them to be able to talk to us without that fear that they're going to be in trouble. They can get the consequence later, but we want them to give that information to you. And visit these sites to review the best practices and keeping them safe.
Y la seguridad, el Internet es un área en evolución. Es importante mantenerse consciente sobre las formas de proteger a sus hijos. Hable con ellos consecuentemente y visito estos sitios con frecuencia para revisar las mejores prácticas para mantenerlos seguros.
Okay, anyone have any questions, big or small? Don't be shy. Yes.
Just want to say it was very informative.
Oh, good.
Thank you for telling me.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
Are you able to put the slides maybe on Parent Square? Okay.
Yes, no problem at all.
You also have a question?
Well, I learned about the monkey. I know about that type.
Yeah, it's pretty new, but
Yeah. Oh, I just found it out last week, but monkey was monkey.
yeah.
That seemed like a dating app or something like
Yeah.
that. That don't seem like,
Yeah, it's not one that anyone I think should be on.
yeah.
I will say, I think previously we had the chat roulette and Amigo apps. En el año pasado tenemos las aplicaciones de chat roulette y también Amigo that were very popular. But like I said before, there were actually YouTube videos I've seen where the more famous YouTubers that have videos of speaking with people, and it says their name and then age. Cuando están hablando con una persona, ese monkey app tiene el nombre y también la edad, pero you don't know if it's true or not. You don't know si son falsos o dios la verdad. So we don't really know.
Well, if nobody has any questions, we'll be here for a couple of minutes if you want to come up to us. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it. And we're here. We'll put our contact information as well on Parent Square, so you can reach out to us with any questions or concerns. Okay? Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Before you go, can we clap it up for two things before you go? Our PTA has the book fair in the Marble Room if you want to stop by. Your children have an opportunity to go to the book fair, but if you want to see what we have, you're invited to. Please take some snacks home with you because we have lots. And last but not least, some of your babies keep leaving things behind. So our Lost and Found is on the way out. There is a box as well as lots of things picked up. If your child is missing anything, please take it with you.
I thought y'all were gonna make it cold. I was gonna say.